Coordinator at the European Islamophobia Report and is head of the Political Science Department at the Turkish-German University. Appreciate you taking the time, sir. I noted there that part of the report said that discrimination was increasing because of the conflicts in the Middle East. Why would that be?
Well, this is a trend that we have been witnessing in the last 15 years in Europe. But with the genocide in Gaza, we see that Muslims are targeted more in Europe, especially in the West, because the media has portrayed Muslims, especially in Palestine, and the Muslims as responsible what is going on there, and that Muslims are now being discriminated, and there are some racist attacks, hate speech, and hate crimes against Muslims, and this is increasing. Although this report says it has been the data collected before these events happened, so the data that you have mentioned does not really reflect what has happened after the 7th of October last year in Europe, and what is its impact on the Muslims of Europe.
I remember a few years back in Western Europe and in the UK, there seemed to be a spate of terrorist attacks there. Often the perpetrator was an Islamic extremist. Do you think we're looking at ignorance here, in that people hear about extremists doing something and they're just conflating an entire religion on that?
Well, this is, I think, an intentional effort. It's a political issue. Of course, there are some terrorists and terror groups who are misusing Islam and the Islamic religion, but there are also others who are misusing other religions. But why Muslims are on the spot? Why Muslims are always being associated with violence and terrorism? It's a political matter, and we see that Muslims are portrayed in this manner, and that's why, of course, people think that Islam is somehow associated with these issues. And then these translates into hate speech and hate crimes and discrimination against Muslims. And this is a trend, I said, we have been witnessing in the last 10, 15 years in Europe. I have been co-editing European Islamophobia Report for about 8 years now. It's an annual report. And in this report, we can see the situation is worsening every year. So there is not an improvement. On the contrary, there is always the situation of Muslims in Europe is worsening, and this report, especially published by Fundamental Rights Agency, has done a survey, European-wide survey, and here we can see with the quantitative data that the situation of Muslims is worsening in any aspect of life, in the job market, in the housing, renting a house or a flat is a problem. There's a hate speech in the street, and so on. And of course, there is a worrying development that Islamophobia, the fear of Muslims, is being also legalized. There are now many laws targeting the religious freedoms of Muslims all around Europe, and new legislation or new laws are being introduced every year, and this is the main problem, I think, one of the main problems.
Appreciate your time. Enes Bayrakli is my guest, coordinator at the European Islamophobia Report. Thank you.
Thank you very much.